welcome to Sports with M. I'm your host, M, today, and today we're joined by a very special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Rillaerts. I'm 18 years old and I'm a professional racing driver in the GTs.
Well, that's very exciting. Have you got a very busy season this year?
Yeah, I mean it will be the first season I will get into cars, so of course it will not be the most busy season compared to karting. I mean in karting we were between 49 and 50 weeks a year away. So compared to that it will not be a lot. But yeah, the plans are looking good. We have some very good, I would say, things looking forward to, and yeah, we will see what's coming on us.
So, when you were karting, were you still at school? How did you balance that?
So yeah, I kind of did school until I was 15, I think, something like this. And then I stopped with it and I did completely homeschool.
Yep.
And so I do everything from home. Also when I'm at the track, I try to take my stuff with me. Now for 2 years I didn't do a thing because I stopped with it for 2 years because it was just way too difficult for me. Just due to the fact that it was just too hard to go to. Because when I make an exam, for example, I have to go to Brussels.
Yeah.
But I had no time to learn for it, and I had no time to go to Brussels. So there was not really a point of putting my effort and time in. So I kind of stopped with it, and now last year I started with it after a season. I started with it again, and I already passed 3 out of 4. So I need to do 7 more. So yeah, not too bad.
Nearly there then. Slowly
Yeah,
steps.
yes.
So, tell us about your journey into racing, like where you are now from the very beginning.
So basically, when I was 3 years old, I started with a little pocket bike. My dad always used to drive motorcycles, so yeah, he was really into it. And then yeah, I got one for my birthday. I kind of got into it, and yeah, but after I did not really like it, so it it quickly stopped.
Yeah.
Then I did for 1 year motocross, but that was also nothing for me. And then my nephew, he said from like he was doing karting, but he's like I don't know, he's a lot older than me, so he was like already quite in it. So he said, "Yeah, why don't you try karting? It's so much better and blah blah blah." So then I went into the kart, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I really like this." Stuff like this, but of course in the beginning you don't really take it serious, it's more like
No,
a hobby, more fun
it's more
thing.
like let's have some fun. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It was like going to the track, enjoying the sun. Half the time you were just out with friends and stuff like this. So yeah, and then after I did my first race when I was I think 7 or 8, and in the first race I immediately got podium. And from there on I started to get a bit more serious because I was like, oh, maybe I have some potential or maybe not. We will see. But yeah, if I make a podium in the first race, it won't be bad. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, in the years after, I mean, I kept performing good. I was always up there. Clinched one of the biggest titles in history. Broke the record of Verstappen, stuff like this. So of course, in the years I've done quite a lot of championships, and where I am now, I would say I've done a pretty good job. Closing my karting career with 135 podiums and 34 titles.
Yeah.
So I think it's not too bad. Now this year in 2025, I made a step into the cars. So of course it's gonna be a new chapter, a new thing, and of course I have to prove myself once again to the outside of the world,
Yeah.
and also to teams, of course. So yeah, of course this year will be a exciting year, but also a quite pressure year, I would say, because yeah, many eyes on you. Coming from racing, performing always well there. So many eyes from big teams are on me. So yeah, let's see what we can do. I mean, as
Yeah.
always, we do our best, and more we can't really do.
Can't really do much than just your best. So that's what you have to do.
Exactly.
So driving can be obviously challenging quite mentally. How do you prepare yourself on race days?
Yeah. So basically. Course now with the car season it's a bit more heavy, so yeah, I go like 5 times a week to the gym. I have there a trainer who completely coaches with me every single day. He trains with me every time. He gives me special exercises like for my neck and stuff like this. Then mentally, I think this is I would say the most important part of racing, due to the fact that it sometimes get really really heavy and sometimes very dark in front of your eyes,
Yeah.
due to the fact a lot of pressure, stuff like this. So yeah, also I have someone who helps me with this, and also just like for example, if you had a bad race, that after the race you stay calm and not really get like for example, if you get an interview you start to be angry on them. Yeah, for your name, it's not really good. So yeah,
No, yeah.
I would say I have a very good team behind me. But in the end of the day, you still make the difference. If
Yeah.
you're angry and you can't control it, it's still your own fault and not from anyone else.
Yeah.
So in the end of the day, those people help a lot, but you still have to make it clear that you're the correct person in the end.
Yeah. And I think lots of people don't realize actually how mentally draining racing can be, and also how much physical work actually goes into it. Like, I know some people believe it's not a sport, but it clearly is. One reason why I'm doing this. But yeah,
No,
the amount of physical work that goes into it is pretty crazy.
yeah, it's for sure. I mean, I've seen it when I was 16 years old. I did the 12 hours of Monza. It was in July, so it was right in the summer. It was
Yeah.
like 34 degrees outside. It went up to 76 degrees in the car, and in the weekend I lost 3.5 kilograms just of sweating. So yeah, that really shows from look at, this is not a kind of sport where you don't have to give up anything, you really have to give up a lot, not only in racing, but also outside, you give up family, you give up friends, you're always on the racetrack. It becomes part of your life. You don't go to school, so you can't really make friends. And people don't always realize from what it actually takes to really get into racing and get really into professional way. You can get
Yeah.
into racing, have fun, make 2 weekends in a year, or you go racing and you want to become the best driver in the world and be every day on track. There are
Yeah.
two different things, and people don't really realize that.
Yeah. And I think it needs to be almost thought out more about it, because it's so much work and effort that goes into racing, and how it affects people, and all those little things, like the stuff you've had to drop, like your family, your friends, your school friends, all stuff like that. All of a sudden you don't have that anymore, but you're doing something you love, which is a decision you have to make sometimes.
Yes, of course, and also on the fact, on social media we're growing quite fast, and this is also something we're bringing in. Is like next year we're really making it like a behind the scenes of how everything works. So how we prepare for the season, how we get into the season, stuff like this. People don't realize from okay, he arrives at the track, he jumps in the car, and that's it. No, you arrive, you need to eat at a certain time. You have warm up, you have team conversations, you have full focus, stuff like this, and people think like you come on the track, you
And
have
that's all
some
you
fun,
do. Yeah.
and that's it. But in the end of the day, you really have to do so much more.
Yeah.
After every session, you have to like look at data, look at videos, try to improve more and more. So this is what we're trying to also show to the fans from look, we want to give you a behind of the scenes and really get you in the feeling from look, there's a lot more than just
Then goes on and
it
just jumping in a car.
it
Yeah.
doesn't always look so bright, I would say, than it is. There's also a very dark side from racing, but
Yeah.
the very dark side never really gets shown. And for us, on what we're gonna do on YouTube is like we're gonna show everything, even if it's dark, if it's bright. Is it difficult? No, real emotions are for me the best thing, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that's also what I'm trying to do with this podcast, is get the actual drivers for themselves, not just the person you watch on the screen who has a name and is driving. Like, your actual human beings who put so much work into it behind the scenes, but also on the racetrack. And yeah, it's really important.
No, but yeah, it's also good that there are people that wants to show the reality and not always the bright side or the dark side. Because the
Yeah,
media always wants to show the dark side from a person, and there are also people who wants to show the good part, but there are not many people, I would say, do that.
no, like you see lots in the media who just target certain people who, like, for no reason at all. Yes, maybe they struggle sometimes in driving, but that doesn't mean you need to tear apart every little part of them. But then you
No, I
also do
mean,
good media. But yeah,
you can be one day you can be a hero, and the next day you can go to zero.
yeah,
It's the media just absolutely makes everything worse. They write up stories about like, oh yeah, yeah, I say something, Liam Lawson cheated on his girlfriend. well, it's not even true. Like, don't even ride it then, let him live his own life. He's also a person in the end.
Yeah,
So, it's like, why do you always have to make the people bad in a bad way and stuff like this? Just let them, let them do. Like, if they race good, make a good article. If they
yeah,
race bad, okay, say from, yeah, he did a pretty good job, but he made some mistakes. But it's always quite negative, I would say.
yeah. There's never like you get obviously like for example Formula One when you get all the stuff about Max and how much of a like such a great racer he is, which he is. He's really amazing. So is Lewis, but like this season they will bring Lewis down because he's not at what his level used to be when he was winning the constructors over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those little things. The way one time, like you said, one day you're a hero, the next day you're terrible. Like it's really sad what the media does sometimes.
Yeah, it's actually horrible.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, you're frozen.
and I
Oh,
was like, oh yeah, maybe just speak. Oh,
oh. Okay, we're good. We're
oh
good.
yeah, now it's fixed
Back.
again.
Continue. We'll edit that part out. Yep. What's been the most challenging race that you have competed in so far?
Um, I mean, I think that there has been a few. I mean, what's been a very challenging one was, I think in 2020, I think yeah, it was 2020 in the BNO Kickoff 2.0. I actually crashed in the pre-final, and the whole chassis was completely bent. And we were not allowed to get a new one, so we had to really rebuild it in 1 hour. So yeah, we could not fix everything, so I had to start that last. And for somehow I could manage to get from P36 to P1 in 30 minutes time.
Really?
Yeah, so in the first lap I was like, just send it and yeah, don't care at all, go for it. And I went everywhere outside and I was like, yeah, maybe I can gain some positions here and stuff like this. And in the end, like I got up to P11 after one lap. And then from there on, it was pretty easy to just move up to the front. So I would say this one was quite difficult,
Yeah.
due to the fact I had to start last.
Yeah.
Uh, I think,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there has been a few races. I mean, this year I started like in Sweden, started P19 in the FIA European Championship. I came to P3 after 25 laps. So I think this is was quite difficult. But I mean, I think if I look to this year, I would say that PFI would be the most difficult one.
Yep.
Due to the fact that the week before I cracked my elbow, and I had to go into the weekend with a cracked elbow.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, I could not hold the wheel for like more than 6, 7 minutes.
Gonna say, how are you gonna? Yeah.
Yeah, it was completely like my arm was completely taped in here,
Oh,
and there was like, yeah, padding over here to protect it to hit the radiator. I will send you a picture about it later.
yeah. I'll put a little
And
photo in the side. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Then I took like 8, 9 medications each day to try to not feel pain. But yeah, the heats were like how long were they? Like 12 laps or something like this. So I could only hold on like for like 5, 6 laps. So in the beginning I was very fast. I went up to P1, on the World Championship, leading the heats, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
confident. And then after like some laps, I was like, I can't hold the wheel anymore, and I was like making so many mistakes, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was actually very difficult. So yeah, I would say this one was for this year. I would say it was the hardest. If I look back in the I would say 12 hours of Monza was very difficult. I've never driven really in the race. It was the second weekend I was in the car. I was the week before in the car. I was only 16, so yeah,
Oh
I was
God.
only so then after on the first stint it went everything right, and then the second stint I did my water system broke, so I had no water for the entire race.
Jeez.
So yeah, with that I was really, really struggling just with like, I felt I was literally killing myself in the car because yeah, I had no water, it was like 76 degrees in the car. It was really terrifying, I would say. So if I look to that, I would say yeah, this was maybe the hardest race from mentally. Just
Yeah.
kept going, you know. Um, because if you have water and you have like if it's like start to get heavy for your body, it's like it's okay. But if you start to feel your body feeling tired and having not enough water, yeah, you really feel like I need water, I need energy,
Yeah.
and you can't come in. This is the whole worst part. There is 12 hours in a race, so you can't just say from, oh, hold on,
Let
it's
me just
20 minutes left. It was in the beginning of my stint, so I had to go 2 hours straight on with no water. If it's the last 30 minutes, you can say, okay, fine. But I had to go 2 hours without water, so that was, I would say, super, super difficult.
yeah. And because like racing takes a lot out of you, like you'd be so dehydrated. When
Yeah.
you're in those moments, like when obviously those situations happen, do you ever feel like, oh, I just want to retire the car or oh, I just want to stop, like pull over and just get out the car?
Yeah, of course. I mean, at that point, you're like, shit, man, I need to stop because this is really, really not good. But then on the other side, you're a racer, so you can't stop because,
Yeah.
if you stop, you will let the team down and stuff like this. So in the end, you keep going just for everyone around, like you try to think from like, look, don't come in, just try to focus on the road, don't think about it, and then after it's kind of fine if you're not really focused on it, then you kind of forget of it. But the moment
Yeah.
you think about it, yeah, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a switch you need to make in your head
You
from
need to
like,
just switch it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Be like, I need to finish. Obviously,
Yeah,
when you hurt your elbow, like, how did you last that long? Like, I don't know how you
so
did that. Like, when you hurt your elbow, how did you actually last that long? Because I feel like most of us would have given up.
I have no clue. I was like full with medication. I was like, oh, it's too hard to drive, and I was like, I have to. It's like the world championship. I can't just not drive. Like, what if I was actually fast enough to maybe win it? And I was like, yeah, let's just do it. And then in qualifying, I got actually P2, and I got actually ruined in my lap because it actually cost me a pole. So I was kind of pissed with that because with the cracked elbow, it was like not too bad. So.
They should have left you alone.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's actually, it's okay to drive a few laps with it. And I was like, yeah, the race will be quite difficult. And then after, in the heats, we always were like second, third, stuff like this. And then one time the engine broke down. So of course it cost me a lot of points. And this was also the reason why it cost me the whole world championship. Because otherwise I would have started P3 or P4 in the final,
Yeah.
and now I have to start P13. So yeah.
So you mentioned crashes earlier.
Yeah.
Um, what have been the worst ones you've been in? Have you been in that many or?
No, I have to say, look, yeah, I always keep my head on, but
Yeah.
um, I not really had, I would say, bad ones. Of course, I had a few shocking ones, but yeah, actually, always got away with like bruised stuff or stuff like this. I mean, if I look to my career from the start, I never really had a big thing. I mean, this year I had quite a big crash. I would say it was in March in Valencia,
Yeah.
in Spain. At the highest point, my engine broke and it seized and it blocked, and I went into the wall because the wall
Mm.
was quite close to the track. So I went straight in the tire wall and I flew over the kart. And I was kind of lost where I was because I was on the ground because I fell out and I was like going
Yeah.
around like.
Everything would have been spinning. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went in the wall, and at that point I flew off. I like flew out of the car, and I started like go like this, and I was like, "Oh shit, where am I?"
Yeah.
And then I was on the ground, and I tried to get up, and I just couldn't feel my left leg anymore. So I was like, "Oh shit, like my leg's broken or something." And
Yeah.
then after like 2 minutes, it was like fine. I stood up, but yeah, I still had to go to the hospital to make a check, and then
Yeah.
only had like a bruised knee, stuff like this. But the chassis was completely dead. It was yeah.
What's it like when you have to race after being in a back, like any kind of crash? Like, what's it like having to race after that? like
I
a few
mean,
days if the car's fixed on time, obviously. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, from my side, I'm quite black and white in that, I would say. I mean, I could say from shit, this was a big one. I'm not sure if I drive, and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh no, like why should I not drive? You know, just
get
drive
me
and
back
go
in.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, like have fun. Come on, like if it happens again, it happens again. You know, you can't change it. I mean, I could walk outside now, and I could drive my bike, and I could get crash with a bike. You know,
yeah,
it is you don't know. So yeah, for me, I I don't really how should I say I don't really get like into deep thoughts from like oh no or like bad or like scared or like no for me it's like you know if you're scared to get back in the car you're not in the right place because yeah it would not be good if you would be scared because then you would
yeah.
do
Then you'd
wrong
never
thing.
race.
So for me it does not really matter.
Yeah, that's good to know. What do you do leading up to race weekend? Like, what's your preparation
Uh, of
week?
course it depends from how long the week is.
Yeah.
um Otherwise I just for example, now with cars, I do a lot of sim here at home. So yeah, I do that a lot just to understand the car a little bit, to know a bit of the setup, to know the track most of the times. It's not always about like being fast on the sim. It's most more of the time like okay, this corner, you know, I can do this and stuff like this. Playing a bit with the brake dice, stuff like this. You know, like those little things, but they help you a lot forward into the race. And then for the rest, you know, I try to just prepare mentally as good as possible. I try to be in the off season now. Try to work as hard as possible to get physically also very good. In of course a certain way to build still be strong and still be fast. You know, you can be strong and have slow muscles, but that's not really a thing you need to have in the car. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's really the only thing I look sometimes to races from the year before or in the year itself that has been there. But for the rest, I would say, you know, it's like more a thing of like I will see what's coming on me. I mean, I can't really prepare more than just get in the sim, you know, watch some videos, watch some onboards, and learn a bit from that. And then from there on into the race weekend, you really have to like, should I say, do your own thing, focus on yourself, and like get into it. You know, like do your own thing and not focus then on other things.
Yeah. I know some of the drivers I've talked to, they have their own little like kind of secret thing they do before the race, like some of them meditate and stuff like that. Do you do anything like that or listen
No,
to music?
not really. I
Really?
When just before the race, I just put my AirPods in, listen to some music. And then we always have to have a warm-up session, you know, like, you know, just jump rope and stuff like this. And yeah, pretty easy stuff, you know, using play spots and
Bit of
it's
skipping.
yeah, it's like a a stupid thing, but for me, it helps me to get really focused into the weekend. Just get straight in, you know, like full focus, half an hour before the race warm up, you know, already have your suit on, AirPods in for half an hour, just
Yeah.
full focus yourself, and then AirPods off, you know, yeah, put your helmet on and go in the car and drive.
Yeah.
Some people have like completely meditation or like stuff like this, but I never did it.
Yeah.
Never.
What do you have like a certain album or person you listen to when you're in that mindset of about to race or
No,
anything
it's
particular?
actually it really depends on my mood. Like sometimes I can listen to rap music, sometimes I'm listening to opera before a race. Yeah, it really depends. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's horrible, horrible. I need to put another song on. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually quite good. And I'd say not one time I need to play like, oh, before the race I need to play these three songs every time. Like no.
That's good. At least then you're not just like same thing every single time. You kind of have a bit of change in what you do.
Yeah, I mean most of the times when I listen to my songs, I always take it with me in the car, and then half the time I'm singing in the car as well. But once I forgot my radio was open, so they could hear everything what I was singing. And then they were like, Kai, your radio is open. I was like, oh, my bad. Then I had to close the radio again.
Is
So,
that
yeah.
one of your funniest
Oh,
radio moments?
what? Sorry?
Is that one of your funniest like radio
Yeah.
moments?
Yeah, it was a bit embarrassing because it was the first day I was there with the team. So it was the first time I was there, and I forgot. Like in some cars you have to hold it, in some cars you have to press it once. Yeah, you had to press talk and then press again to put it off. So I pressed it, I kept it in, and I was like saying something from look, I can you check like blah 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 or something, and then after I just go off thinking
Yeah,
the
into
radio
your
is
sing
off.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like doing my own thing again. I heard no one speaking, so I was like, oh yeah, right. Then I just keep going, like having some fun. And I started singing. And then like 2 laps later, they said from, yeah, we really enjoy your singing, but now you can turn off the radio. I was like, oh, okay, sorry. And then I put it off, and it was fine again. So I would say that was a bit embarrassing, I would say, but yeah.
Were you hitting those high notes in the car? Were they enjoying the little performance?
No, it was more of a, I would say a waffle. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, because you have like helmet clothes and everything. So it was more of a waffle song, I would say. And it was always, it was always like one part of a song. It was like not a whole song. It was like, always one part of a song. And I was repeating this every 10 seconds. And someone recorded it in the team. And then I came back and then they showed me that I was singing. And then I
Oh,
didn't knew the radio was open. So yeah.
I feel like that should go on a YouTube video. I reckon that.
Yeah, I think that too. Next time I put it on, I will put it on the YouTube channel.
Good idea. You're like, this is what actually happens in the car.
Yeah, so we're not not like we're not serious at all in the car. We're very unprofessional. We like to sing stuff like this.
I love hearing radios of when people are racing because it's the most like people are like, oh, they'll be so hardcore, like so concentrated, nothing. And then it's like the random music or they're having a massive sing song in the car or something. I just think it's great because they're just like
Yeah,
chilling.
but it's actually difficult to like use the radio while driving. Like I've never thought about it, but when I used it, I in the beginning I just forgot to speak. Like I opened the radio and then yeah, so when I used it the first time, I forgot, the car is super, super loud, so you have to speak a bit louder than normal. But I was speaking so quiet, and the team was repeating all the time from like, we can't hear you, we can't hear you. And then I was like, maybe I should scream. So I started to scream up there, because I was like, maybe I'm just way too quiet. And then after, it was like, yeah, you don't have to scream. And I was like, yeah, but you don't hear
You
me.
don't
So I
hear
started,
me.
yeah. So I was like, yeah, and after like now it's pretty easy, you're used to it. So now you're like when you speak, it's like normal. But in the beginning, I was like speaking normal, but it was too quiet to actually hear from the team, so you had to put a higher note on. So yeah.
That's so like imagine them sitting with their headphones on, just hearing what?
Yeah. I was like most of the times, half the times when they speak to me, I forgot to answer. Because like for example, if you're like in a section of where like a lot of corners, you can't speak back because you have to focus on the road. And then you're so focused that sometimes you forgot what they say. So for example, like on if you have like for like 20 seconds all like corners, then you're so into the corners and then you don't always like for like know what they said. So then the team has to like repeat and then you always say repeat and then they say again. But it's sometimes very difficult because
Yeah.
like for example, you arrive at the breaking point and they open the radio and they start to speak. It's super, super annoying. Because you're like fully dialed in. At once you hear in your ears like super loud, like blah blah blah, and I'm like never speak on breaking points with me. I hate that. Yeah, it's horrible.
I feel like I need to hear some of those radios. I feel like they'd be quite entertaining. Think a whole
Yeah.
YouTube video, like reels, like full on, get the whole gig out. Oh, you good? The frozen again. Oh, you're back.
Alright, yeah, it's frozen. I don't know.
Is it me or is it? Might be
No,
me.
I changed. It's me. Wait.
Oh, hang on, I might connect to my phone data. Wait, I think it's me.
Yeah, this will be better. This will be better normally.
You good? Do you reckon?
Yeah, I changed to Wi-Fi because it was not from this room, so I think that was a problem.
Oh, okay. All good. We'll edit that part out. All of
Yeah,
a
it's
sudden,
okay.
you're just frozen like this. Like, oh,
Oh, really?
yeah. I'll send you
Oh,
a photo because you're literally like,
The Just Russell, the Just Russell, no, the George Russell post.
Yeah, the full on.
Yeah.
Um, all right. What is one key piece of advice you would give to aspiring drivers who look up to you and want to continue in those footsteps?
I mean, for me, it's like really like focus on yourself and don't listen to people that, people always try to say a lot of stuff, but in the end, you really have to focus on yourself. And also, if you want to become a racer, you will never make friends on the track. You know, everyone finds me a dickhead on track, and I know that, and that's fine. But I'm there to race and not to make friends.
Yeah,
And even I don't really mind who's next to me, but I'm there to win the race and not there to have fun. So if you
yeah,
want to like really become a racer, it's like someone made actually a TikTok about me and said, if you're not getting hated on, you ain't doing that shit right.
yeah,
In the end, they just want to be you. And this is actually right. When I was younger and I was not really on to like always on the top, you have friends because they're like, oh yeah, he's not fast enough. But the moment you start to perform and start to get more to the front, start to win more and start to win championships, they back off. And then from look, you're not gonna make friends in racing, really not. So it's like try to do your best, focus on yourself.
yeah.
And even if your best friend is in front of you, just overtake him. Just don't
Double
stay
that
behind.
by.
Yeah, just put him off. If he defends, put him off. Say bye. You're there to race, not to make friends.
Yeah. And at the end of the race, if you want to be friends, by all means. But while you're racing, full steam
I
ahead.
mean,
So.
off track, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like next to the track, I'm the nice person, sweet person, stuff like this. But the moment I put my helmet on, I'm I'm a different person. It's like I do not care who you are, or we could have fun 5 minutes before the race, speak, but the moment my helmet gets on, I do not care. Even if I have to drive over you to win the race, I would drive over you to win the race. So even if I have to defend 12 laps to win a race, I don't mind. I'm there to race
Game
and
on.
to win. And I do not care who you are, but I will win that race. And then they can be mad on me after the race. I really do not care about that. Because,
Helmet on, different person. Absolutely.
sorry?
Helmet on, then you're a different person.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
When
that
I'm helmet
works.
on,
I
it's
mean, how else are you
like
gonna win races and
it,
stuff?
it's from evil to devil. Really. It's so like even on the grid, I'm speaking with like guys having fun. The moment I get in the car and I get out, just move out of my way because I will just overtake you somehow. Really, it does not matter where you are, but I find a way.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would say yeah, that's advice if you're not gonna make friends if you want to become a racing driver.
yeah. And I think that's something people need to consider if they do want to.
Yes, it's not easy to get there. I would say in general.
It's a lot of other stuff that you have to put into it rather than just getting in the car and racing.
Yeah, of course, and you have to also be very lucky to
Yeah,
that all the puzzles fall together at the same time and at the right time. And like for example, if you're leading the race, your engine can die, or your tire can die, or you know, there are so many things that can happen. What's not in your hands?
yeah,
If you stupid move, yeah, it's stupid from yourself, and it will be your own fault, and no one can change it. But if the engine dies, how shit it is,
it's
you
no one's
can't
fault.
change it.
Yeah.
You can't change anything. I mean, you have to accept it. You have to live with it, and you have to go on.
Have you ever, like, when you've gotten into crashes, have any drivers ever gotten like mad at you? Like a bit
Yeah.
like, yeah, like full
I
on.
mean, I mean, and they drive me over the track, and then they get mad at me, and then I'm like, mate, like, what are you saying? Like you crash into me. I
Yeah,
mean, don't cry. Like, accept it. You're not gonna change it anyway. We're both out. Sit down, enjoy the sun,
Yeah.
just watch the race. There's no point of trying to fight.
No.
Because the race is over. You ruined it. Just give up on about it. Like give up. Like don't even try to. I don't. Most of the times I don't even speak back.
Mm.
If they scream on me, I go like, yeah, you're done now, or like stuff like this. It's like,
There's nothing
I,
neither of us can do. So
no, I go to the marshal post, I take my seat, and I watch the race and enjoy the sun.
yeah, fair.
And yeah, I mean, nothing else to do.
Yeah. Uh, just
Most
sit
of the
back,
times,
relax, have a lay down.
yeah, most of the times I'm speaking with the marshals and I'm asking some water or something like, yeah. When I crashed at the World Championship in 2023, I was sitting there with all my teammates because the whole team crashed in the first corner. So we were all sitting together, and then yeah, we were just speaking about the most random things what had not to do with racing, and we were actually having a good time, even though we crashed on the World Championship. But we were having a good time for
Yeah,
like 40 minutes sitting there, and then we even asked the marshals if we could have some water, and then we got some water as well. So yeah, it's like it depends how you take it and how you put everything in the way you need. You can also sit there for 40 minutes with your helmet on and
be
close your
nice.
visor and sit there. But now you had 40 minutes fun, you had some good talks, and you had some good laughs, and
Yeah,
it's shit that your race is ruined, but you can't change it at that point anymore.
yeah. Sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Wasn't meant to be your day.
No, exactly. Exactly.
What is the most memorable race you've had?
Mm,
Top one.
yeah, I have so many, but if I have to take one, I would say the one the in 2020, the BNL Kickoff 2.0, where I drove from last to first. Also,
That's
just to the
pretty cool.
fact, yeah, I got like everyone was like, "How is it possible?" and stuff like this. But until the day of today, it has never been cleared out because in karting we have like bumpers that click in, and one of my sides were clicked in, so it meant I had a penalty. But I was like, fuck that. I'm not gonna let that give
Penalty
my
hit me. Yeah.
yeah, so I see my teammate in the pit. I came first and I dropped back to last. So the people who checked the bumper were last with me. And my teammate was with me. And then I say, mate, just lose the clicks and I put it out. And then he loses it and I push it with my foot and it was out. And then he clicks it again like the clip on. And then they come and check and it was completely fine. But I was stressed for like 2 hours straight until the podium that I would have won or that would anyone have seen because someone saw it, and my teammate went to him and he took it with his suit and he said, "You shut up," and then he didn't say anything. But I was still so stressed that the guy would go upstairs and say, "Oh look, he pushed his bumper out and stuff like this." Until the day of today, no one knows that it
Oh,
happened. Yeah, it's actually I had to laugh so
just
hard.
expose yourself there.
Yeah, I mean, it's now how long ago? It's now 5 years ago. So
So they
I
can't do
don't.
anything about it now.
Huh?
They can't do anything about it
No,
now.
exactly.
They can't change it.
No,
So
exactly. So yeah, I would say that has been it was a good laugh because before the race, I was with the same teammate who helped me. We were 36 and 35. So we both were on the back and he went P11, I went P1. So yeah, we both did like a great job and it was actually like funny.
I love that. I just love the don't say anything, you shut up.
Yeah, he really took it with his suit because the one guy started to scream and march and he was like, "Yeah, you shut up now before I hit your face." He was "No." And I
You
was like
say
sitting there
something, you're having a
stressed about it.
fight.
Huh?
You say something, you're having a fight, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I did not do anything. I was sitting with my cart. I was
Yeah.
stressing about my bumper. I did not even care about that. I was like, have a fight. Rather that they fight, because then the marshals would go there and I could push the bumper out. But yeah.
Would have been helpful. Should take
Yeah,
along
and
to the team.
yeah, and then we had some fun that someone was fighting so we could see it. I had
Yeah,
front row seat because it was straight in front of me, so yeah.
exactly. Get the camera
So
out.
yeah, exactly.
Do you have any motorsport role models? Any like person you look up to in motorsport
Like a person I look up to, or
or role model or like who you want to be or something like that?
I mean, I mean, yeah, I mean, my biggest inspiration is Max. I mean, Max, helped me a bit in racing.
Really?
Um, yeah, so I think I would say he's really a person that I say from I hope I can be like him one day. Um, so I would say him, yes.
Is there is why you chose Max? Like you said, he helped you in karting. Was it?
Oh, I met him a few times in Genk. And then yeah, he helped me a bit with like giving me some advice and stuff like this. So I would say that at that point I did not really know who Max was. I was also not really into the sport. But then I started to watch his races and I was like, oh, he's actually crazy how he drives, and it's like, he's like he has such an ego, but on a correct way. You
Yeah,
know, you can have an ego in a bad way, but I find he's on the limit, but he's always on the limit and he goes over the limit and people say yeah, it's dangerous, but when you don't go over the limit, you're not a true champion, you know? When you want to win, you have to go over the limits. You have to always get one step in front of your opponent. And
yeah.
even even Max would say even if you have to drive over them, he would also do it. So, and I'm exactly the same. I mean, even if I have to drive over someone, I would do it to win a championship.
I
So,
mean, he kind of did what Max did last year when he when it started from, was it the pit or I don't know, he had a massive grid penalty and he was at the bottom of the grid and then he came all the way up to P1 and then won the race. So you kind of already
yeah,
done a Max.
he's actually, and I always had, I had always Max lines on top of my helmet because I'm born in August. So yeah,
Yeah,
of course, lion.
lovely.
And yeah, so I was like, I put his lion on, and then I kept it for quite a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was actually nice.
Any Max, do you ever sing do 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 in the car or?
No, 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 no. I I actually have some stuff here from what I got from Red Bull. Like
Yeah,
yeah, like limited edition stuff. Like for example, I have
really?
a car and there's like only 350 made of them, and I have like the first one of it and stuff like this.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
So
so
if you could race for any team, would it be Red Bull
yeah,
or
for sure.
yeah?
I'm speaking with Red Bull right now for the next season or like for this season. So yeah, it's it would be a dream for me if it would be real, I would say.
Is what's the ultimate goal? Like if you could,
Yeah, of course, the
yeah,
goal is Formula One. I
yeah,
mean, like from every driver, it's Formula One. Um, but if I look budget wise, it's nearly impossible to get there. Just the amount of money that goes in there is insane. So right now I'm trying to focus on becoming a factory driver in the endurance. Is it
yeah.
hypercar three stuff like this.
I mean, you're still younger, so you do have time. Like you're not going to
Yeah,
be Alonso. Like you have enough time to,
yeah, exactly. Well,
to
Alonso is,
get
is a
there.
rookie in the news. No. But no, yeah, I mean, for now the focus is completely on that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Especially because you're only 18, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I turned 18 in August.
Oh yeah.
So
Do you want to do some fun questions? Just a bit of fun.
yeah, sure.
Hey, what's your go-to drink order?
My what?
Your go-to drink order. Like if you were out and about, what would you get as a drink? They're random questions, I know.
But I never drink anything special. Like I most of the times drink water.
Really? No
Yeah,
coffee, no.
yeah, I do, but I would say then Red Bull. I would go for Red Bull.
A Red Bull? Yeah, fair.
Yeah. I have actually a massive Red Bull fridge down there.
So Red Bull then. Good to know. Who's your favorite song artist?
I have no clue to be honest. I have literally you know what the thing is? I listen to music, but I never know who sings it.
That's so
So
that's me as well. Like,
yeah, so I know most of the times I know like what's the song called, but most of the times I have no clue who the singer is. It's like, oh yeah, is it that song from that person? I'm like, I have no clue. I just know I know the
my
title.
playlist.
That's it. Yeah, don't ask me anything. So
Well then, what's your favorite song at the moment?
Um, I also don't know, to be honest.
Fire back
Um,
at you.
I would say then I would say Black Friday. It goes um I don't know if you know the song.
Think I've heard of it. Like, you know, when you hear of a song and you're like, think
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know it, but like, yeah,
yeah. I think it's pretty good song.
yeah,
It's like it's not like any rap song or
yeah.
stuff like this, but it's yeah, I really like it.
So that's like, do you listen to that before the track sometimes, or
No, I actually don't. I actually never listen to it on track. It's like you will know it for sure.
not? Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
it
wait.
is.
Oh, yeah. So it's not that kind of vibe for racing, I guess.
No, no, but like it depends because on my playlist I have like rap songs, I have not rap songs, I have been a bit more sad songs. I have like a mix of I have opera in there. I have literally everything in there. Yeah, like sometimes I'm sitting like I don't know why, but for me opera I found so good.
Yeah,
Like my team hates me if I say from okay, I'm gonna help you with the YouTube video, and then I'm sitting there and they're like, oh yeah, you can choose a song. So for example, yesterday we were at on Discord, we were like all sitting together, choosing songs, and they were like, yeah, go on, and if it's good, put it in favorite. I was like, oh my God, this is so good, favorite, and they started listening. It's like, Kai, what are you doing? I was like. Yeah, but Oprah is so good, and then but it doesn't fit on the YouTube video. I say, but it's so good. They're like, guy, stop with it. We don't need your help anymore. So yeah, I think I'm sometimes more more a timekeeper than a helper.
is there ever some opera vocals on the racetrack? Like any high notes on the racetrack like that?
No. Luckily, no. I only sing when I'm in the shower, like the team hates it. So like most of the times we like rent a house or something, and then after the race I come back and I start to sing for the entire house and stuff like this. And then they're like, "Oh my God!" And they've recorded it so many times, so that's the worst, I would say.
I mean, I'm a fan of opera as well. Like I'm trained in it classically, but I love opera. So
Yeah,
it's just so versatile. Like I feel like, yeah, it's calming, but then it can also be like, I don't know. I listen to it when I work out sometimes. So
it's like it connects you with the world.
yeah.
So
Um, favorite movie or TV series at the moment?
if I'm honest, I never watch TV. I barely watch movies. If I have to pick a movie,
We can go back a long time if we need to.
if I have to choose I, oh, Project X?
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah, it's like with
Yeah.
the party that they arrange and stuff
Yeah.
like this. This one I had to laugh so hard about. I think this one, or like the one from Senna, I really, but it's more a series to be honest.
Yeah. That was I tried to watch it, but I was like, I can't handle scary things.
Yeah, it's how it's made. It's actually insane. Or the
Yeah.
one from Schumacher was also very good. But yeah, on YouTube you have like a lot of documentaries. So I
Yeah.
watch a lot, like like where they just describe the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Interesting. But
Hmm.
for the rest, I I like action movies. They always end the same. It's
Yeah.
always the same, and I don't know. I'm not into it.
Or someone dies. One of the
Yeah,
two.
it's always stuff like this.
Do
So
you have
or
a
Harry Potter. I love Harry
oh,
Potter.
classic?
Yeah, I think I've watched everything like 8 times or something.
What house
So
would you be in?
sorry.
What house would you be in the Harry Potter? Slytherin, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw.
Really no clue. I think I like all, to be fair.
All?
Yeah, I like. I mean, yeah, I mean all movies are quite good from it. So yeah, I will say Harry Potter. I will say
Yeah,
that.
fair, valid answer.
Yes.
What's your go-to snack? Like
I'm
favorite
not I'm
snack?
not really allowed to eat snacks, so
If you could have a sneaky little cheap little
I really don't know actually. I've not eaten a snack in ages, so Paw Patrol?
yes.
They have like cookies from
Yeah.
Paw Patrol, and it's like this, and there's like chocolate on,
Yeah.
and it's actually so good. So every time in the off season, I always go to the shop and buy like 10 packs of it, and it gets finished in like 3 days or 2 days.
They're
So
kind of like the Tim Tams that we have in Australia. Like that's like an iconic biscuit here, but that's kind of like the same vibe, like chocolate on top. And then a
yeah,
little,
it's
yeah,
so good.
so good. Favorite food from another country. More food questions. We're turning into
Yeah,
a food blog.
pasta for sure. I eat literally every day. I eat pasta, so I would not really. Well, like in Belgium and Netherlands, you really have like something typical from here. If you go to like the get like French fries and stuff like this, and it's like typical from here. You can't get anywhere else near Belgium and the Netherlands. And when you eat it here, no one you can't get it in like Germany or France or stuff like this. So I would say this, but this is so good. So we have a tradition every time on Sunday we eat it, and like no one like when I'm away for racing, I actually miss this food so much. Because like sometimes I'm like 2 months not home, I'm like I really miss that food. That's like, and you can't get it anywhere else, so it's really horrible.
I would, and then because you can't get it anywhere else, you'd be like, it's all I want, it's all I'm craving. And then I'm traveling, but I can't have it.
Yeah, and then I'm seeing my friends, and then they send me a picture that they're there, and I'm like, I want to eat it so bad now.
So mean.
Yes, oh yeah.
Oh, imagine, like opening Snapchat and then seeing that would be
Yeah, I get always so hungry when I see it. So that's
if you could race anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Japan.
Why is that?
Due, due to the fact it's just all different, it's super nice there. I think it looks so cool.
It's so
I think,
clean.
yeah, I think it's super cool, like to drive there. I think the racetracks, I've seen some racetracks are just insane.
Yeah.
Like they're like China and like stuff like there, it's like insane the tracks. So I would say there, yeah.
Before we end the little podcast today, do we have any last messages or anything you want to say? You can also shout out or do anything. Literally, just a little.
Oh, no, I mean, I think it's not really about like saying something. It's more about like having a thankful to all the fans who supported me in the last 2 years, I would say. Um, we from our side we work a lot on for us, I would say the fans are the most important thing in our company. If I would say that there's like a triangle, I would say the fans are 100% here. Like we also gave the fans like the chance to come on the car and stuff like this. So I would say that the fans are for us the most important thing. So I have to say a massive thanks for like all the support in the past 2 years or 3 years that we have been on social media. Of course, there's a lot more to come. Uh,
We've
so
heard
yeah,
that
we're
today.
yeah, we're planning a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's really busy right now. But yeah, I think that I would say right now a massive thanks for all the support and all the love I get every day, all the nice messages. So yeah, a massive thanks to all the fans who supported me in the past years.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Kai.